This is the Mini Mobile Show for Tuesday, July 20th, 2010. HTC and RIM tell Steve Jobs, don't blame it on us. Two notable smartphones go off the market.
And we find out why you should use Google Voice on your cell phones. Plus, our sponsor, Angie'sList.com, has a great deal for you coming up later in the episode.
Thanks for joining us on the Mini Mobile Show. I'm Eric Beeler.
And I'm Eric Johnson. Let's see what's going on in the world of mobile news. Last week at Steve Jobs' press conference, they showed several videos of rival smartphone manufacturers and their trouble with death grip signal loss. Now the phone makers are fighting back, telling Apple that they are the ones with the problem.
That's right.
So Apple has the issue. The other guys are like, stop pointing your death grip at me.
If anyone saw the videos that Apple put out, which they have available out there, they showed that other phones also had the problem. So they'd put the grip on like a BlackBerry. Right. There was an Android device, a Windows mobile device.
All phones lose signal when wrapped in tinfoil.
Yeah. Well, basically RIM, Research in Motion, who makes the BlackBerry, they said, quote, Apple's claims about RIM products appear to be deliberate attempts to distort the public's understanding of an antenna design issue and to deflect attention from Apple's difficult situation.
Yeah, and HTC actually came out and said that the reception problems are certainly not common among other smartphones, obviously including theirs.
Yeah, that's right. And Motorola said it's common knowledge in the industry that antennas on the outside of products have known issues. Despite that they lead to smaller phones, we avoid them because consumers don't like being told how to hold their phones.
Yeah, so obviously, yes, any antenna you cover is going to have a problem, but Apple's is on the surface and you have to touch it. So I don't...
Yeah,
maybe.
So basically they're saying leave us out of this whole situation.
Especially when the cover helps. When the cover helps, that means you did something wrong.
That's right. Now, the not unexpected hammers finally dropped on Microsoft's Kin social phone. Although they discontinued the product 2 weeks ago, it's been officially pulled from store shelves and the website of carriers like Verizon. Another death certificate is issued to Google's Nexus One and its companion web store.
Yeah, Nexus One's all gone, right? They're pulling it now.
Yeah, now, Nexus One basically was the Google branded phone. It was the one they were selling.
Right, it was their experiment with we're going to sell a phone.
It was kind of like Apple makes the iPhone. They were like, Google's going to make a phone too, call it Nexus One.
Well, they make Android.
Yes.
So it made sense that they had a phone to put it on. So they're going to go the Windows route now. And they're going to make the software and put it on people's hardware.
Yeah, apparently they're doing better through carriers and third-party sales anyway.
Okay. What's happening to all the Kins? Are they just being sent back to
destroyed? Yeah. You would think maybe they just sell out of what they have, but they're all being sent back, a la E.T. on the Atari 2600 and put into a big landfill.
That game sucked. Leaked documents from Verizon point to a quick launch for their next-generation network. It's planned to be rolled out to 10 cities and 100 million connections by the end of the year. And this is their big 4G.
Yeah, this is their 4G, the LTE-based network, which is going to completely replace their existing CDMA network.
Okay,
which is how you can't, talk and surf the web at the same time.
Yeah, you'll have obviously the ability to do both, but you're going to get 5 to 10 meg download speeds.
Yes.
I mean, this is rivaling even advanced DSL lines and cable modems you can get to the house. I mean, the speeds are going to be good.
They're talking, there's some word that there's about 30 millisecond latency, which is very good for a cell network. We're going to see laptop cards first, and then they'll start moving into the phones. And there's rumors of a 4G-enabled tablet sometime next year as well.
I'm going to be surfing the web from everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
I'm very excited.
So that's the Mini Mobile News. Stay right there for our focus on Google Voice. The Mini Mobile Show is a paid affiliate of Angie'sList.com.
That's right, and Angie's List is a word-of-mouth network helping more than 1 million members find the best service companies and healthcare in their area. You can read detailed reviews from members near you to find out which contractors or doctors to trust and which to avoid. Use our code CSTECH and get 25% off your subscription. Again, Angie'sList.com. Well, it's time for our Mini Mobile Focus, and today we wanted to put that focus on Google Voice. Now, this has been around since last year, and there's a lot of pieces and parts for this, but we're starting to look at how it's going to work on your smartphones and give you sort of access to the Google Voice system from your phone.
Yeah.
Why is that cool?
Well, let's see. Google Voice is a cloud service that provides, PBX-like functions.
PBX, like phone system, voicemail, those kind of things.
Yes,
and
that's
extensions and all that good stuff.
So, I just type in m.google.com/voice into the web browser on my phone, a smartphone, and you're going to get an interesting interface. It's got a full keyboard layout. It gives you access to several functions. Okay. So you go to m.google.com/voice. And what you can do is you can get a phone number from Google Voice or integrate with your existing number.
Okay, and this becomes your primary phone number. Like that's the one you give out, right?
Right. So
you handle everything else.
if you let them give you a new phone number, or no, if you let them give you a new phone number, it's going to replace your old phone number, and direct incoming calls are going to come directly from Google Voice.
Right.
If you're going to use your existing number, it's going to be a thing called conditional forwarding. Basically, you keep your existing number, but you only really use Google Voice for voicemail.
Okay. And what is that? So that gives you a number that you call Google Voice, but then once someone calls Google Voice, what happens? You can start to
you can configure Google Voice to ring multiple phones,
right,
and switch which phones get rung.
Okay.
So you're going to have your carrier number, but it's going to forward those calls to your carrier number.
Right. So the advantage there, obviously, is if Google Voice gives you a phone number and you start getting too much telemarketing and people you don't want, you can just pull that number out.
Yeah.
No one ever had your cell number. No one ever had your phone number.
And you can block specific users on or it's not users, but phone numbers.
Okay. And you can actually just use Google Voice as a voicemail only.
Yeah, you definitely can do that.
So you can do that kind of stuff too.
Now, this gives you access to a voice over IP network. It's going to give you access to cheap calling. So you can actually dial from the keypad in Google Voice, and it will route you through their network and give you cheap access to things like international calling.
Okay, and so you're actually talking, you're using your phone speaker as a microphone to communicate through that application. It's
That's
not actually
right.
going through your cell.
That's
so
right.
basically you're just paying for data at that point. You're not paying for cell time.
That's right.
Now I thought a lot of the cell companies kind of squashed that because there were things for like Skype for the phones and they got
No, you can. There is Skype for the phone though, so
Okay.
you're still getting around those things in some respects. Now you can use it as voicemail as well, like
Right.
we were talking about. One of the cool options is it transcribes your voicemails into text.
Now you've been doing this. How you said it's a little shaky sometimes.
It can be a little shaky. What it's going to give you is about 70 to 80% of what someone's actually telling you.
So you get the idea.
You can get the gist, especially if they're leaving a longer conversation on voicemail. But if someone leaves you an angry text with a lot of explicit
It
words,
out.
yeah, it's not going to translate those properly. And I got a wrong number phone call from somebody who wanted to beat up another guy. That was not an accurate transcribe.
Okay.
But for the most part, the other ones have been pretty good.
But if someone calls you and says, I'm going to be late for class, and it transcribes it and it says, I'm going to mate with cats, something like that could happen.
Yeah, normally it's pretty good. And it's
Okay.
going to highlight the words that it feels very confident about
Okay, so
and
you
gray
kinda
out the
know.
ones it doesn't.
Okay.
And then you can just call into your voicemail and just
Okay.
actually check the message.
You can also get free texting through Google Voice. You
Yeah,
can
that's
save
right.
a little bit of money there and text through Google Voice.
Yeah.
And it'll integrate with all your Google contacts, so you can manage that all on the website.
That's right. And full integration. And when you're on an Android device, the Google Contacts integration is a lot better. It'll actually take your phone contacts, put those into the Google Voice application.
Okay. Now, how much of this is actually, because to a certain extent, doesn't it feel like we're turning the cell phone into like a dumb terminal? And we're replacing a lot of the functionality.
A little bit. You
with
know
the
how Google
side,
is.
cloud
Google
side
wants
service.
everything to be on the internet.
do.
But, there are some specific features that you get out of an app that you load on Android. One of the things we just talked about was that contact integration.
Yes.
Another thing you get is voicemail and SMS messaging with push, which means that it's pretty close to real time.
Okay.
Now, one of the old problems with Google Voice was that Google Voice, the app would check like every 15 minutes. It would have to go
Okay,
out
so you
and
get a
pull
text
down. It's kind of
late.
like pulling down the
Get a
old
voicemail
email,
late,
the
okay.
POP3
Okay.
email. So now it just pulls it down almost in real time, which makes it very, very handy.
Okay.
You can almost move exclusively to Google Voice and kind of leave your carrier behind, except for
Except for
having
the
the
data.
phone and
Yeah.
and
So
having that connection.
there's an app for Android. Is there an app for any of the other platforms?
No,
like
but
iPhone
it
or
works on
Windows?
BlackBerry, it works on Windows Mobile 6.5, and it works on iPhone.
But for those, you just use your browser.
Just go open your browser, put a bookmark in, you're good to go.
All right.
And that's Google Voice on the Mini Mobile Focus. Thanks for joining us on the Mini Mobile Show.
Thanks for checking us out, and be sure to check out our sponsors. Remember, today it was angieslist.com. Head on over to their website, and if you use our code CSTech, it'll get you 25% off your membership at angieslist.com. You can find us on a few websites.
That's right. We're over at cstechcast.com, our primary website. You also find us on Twitter at Mini Mobile Show. TheMiniMobileShow.mevio.com is where we stream. Also on YouTube, just type in The Mini Mobile Show.
That's right. Thanks for checking out the show, and I hope we've given you something useful. So,
See you tomorrow.
bye.